Oh, it's better than that.
Hey guys, so we are on Google Plus again because our...
Oh, we're getting there.
Huh?
Oh, but we're getting there.
Okay. John is working very hard on this right now. So if you guys want to come chat with us at Google Hangouts, go to the little G plus that's on our channel page and click it and you'll come to the G plus. We've tried to put in comments and links and stuff so that you guys can come over.
Exactly.
And it never works.
Which is what we may have to do on our YouTube Live, which is what I'm trying to set up now.
But today we wanted to talk about minimalism and going from farming / prepping to a minimalist, very small space. And to do that is sometimes it's a little bit emotional. Sometimes we have these dreams of these objects saving our family or being just a huge blessing to our neighbors and stuff like that, when in reality it's just too much. Like for us, we have 2 years of food storage on hand at any given time, plus all the food that we get from our property. And there gets to be a point where it starts to block you from being able to do the things that you really care about. Now, do I think there's some things that you need to hold on to that are really wise to have around? I do. For me, it's livestock. And I think that there's a way to be a minimalist and still farm. And I think it comes down to necessity. What is a necessity and what is silly? I don't know if there's another word for it. Excessive. And so for me, what that means is that I have gone through everything. And if I haven't used it in 6 months, I don't need it. I've done this for several years because my parents, when they moved from their farm, tried to give me all sorts of stuff. And what it came down to was that our house that had been functioning really well stopped functioning because we had all this free farming stuff. We had all this free prepping stuff and food storage and everything. And for instance, like food storage, if you don't rotate it, it goes bad. And so you spend all this money on this great food that nobody ever eats. And so I don't think it means not taking advantage of free and very cheap goods. I think that's a great thing to do. But I think it means that you make sure to use it up and you notice when you're not using it up and when it just becomes redundant, because trying to balance too much feed and too many animals and too much equipment is ridiculous. You start having to buy more shelves in order to store more stuff, and you can't find the stuff that you do use, and it can become a hoarding situation. It really can. For instance, for us, we have all this firewood out in the back that when Mr. Dirt's back wasn't hurting, I would go along and collect firewood from tree services so that we could use it to burn in the winter. And that was all great and good until it turned out that Mr. Dirt hurt his back, and I have this huge pile of wood out in our back property that just doesn't look good. And we can't use it because he can't use a chainsaw, he can't use an axe anymore. And so I'm using that towards my prepping. I'm going to sell my wood, have somebody come pick it up and pay me for it, and we'll use that money to bring in less wood, but wood that has been cut and split so that John doesn't have to do it. Will it be less? Will it, does it seem less self-reliant? Yes, but especially if you have disabilities in your house, there is such a thing as overkill. There is such a thing as perfectionism to the point of just weighing yourself down to the point that you can't do it anymore. And to some degree, I think we've kind of done that to ourselves. And it's one of the reasons why we're kind of excited to not be here for a little while, is that there does get to a point where you've tried to save money so hard that you burned yourself out doing it. So back to the topic at hand. So our RV is too small to put food storage into. It's 10 by 20, 8 by 20.
Roughly, it's 20 feet long.
And how wide is it? 8?
It's 8 feet wide at the widest. So yeah, you're talking about maybe we have 100 and something square feet. Yeah.
And so like the little cupboards in the RV are not really big enough to hold food storage in. So what we're thinking is going and getting a little 2-horse
horse trailer.
And we would be able to bring maybe some livestock, but at least we would have some food storage with us and be able to carry a little bit of extra water storage. Not that the RV doesn't have water storage, it does, but to have maybe a little bit extra that's separate from the RV. And to me, that just feels a lot better than just going out in an RV. We would still like to be able to take the goats. It is definitely part of my security blanket to have some livestock. Our biggest concern, though, is predation. A lot of the places that we're going, there would be cougars and bears and wolves and even neighborhood dogs and that kind of thing. And so we're really glad that we have a little bit of extra time. We've got a month left before we leave to really make that decision of, do we want to get the horse trailer? Do we want to try, you know, hell and high water? Do we want to make sure that we're taking some of our livestock with us? And so let's see, again, if you guys want to chime in, sometimes it's really hard.
We're coming up. I'm almost got the YouTube live, guys, and we'll have a chat window over there.
Yeah, and we do have a chat window here. You just have to go to the Google Plus. I am spinning up Romney. This is for Amy's sweater. And sitting here at the Mach 3 spinning while we're having our conversation. And so we sold our big car hauler that we've always used to go get hay and wood and stuff like that, which I'm not sad about that at all. It was pretty high off the ground, and it meant that I had to buck really high in order to get the hay up onto the trailer. And so we found a little trailer for about the same price that is the horse trailer, and it's low to the ground. You can just step up into it. It's smaller. And so I think it's a little more woman friendly or disability friendly because it's lower to the ground. And
I'm not an invalid.
You might as well be. You might as well be. And so this little 2-horse trailer might be a really good solution for us. We do have the okay to go up to Paul Wheaton and get videos up at his place, which will be a good maiden voyage. It's when we can go up to and come back. And if we had the horse trailer, we could take the goats as an option. He does have bears up there and cougars, oh my. And I don't want my goats to be scared, but I really don't want to sell my goats. So let's see here on the homestead, what is going on? Obviously we are de-junking. It amazes me how many layers there are to getting ready to move or trying to go more minimalist. First off, I just took bags and bags and bags and bags of stuff and clothes and extra everything and put it in garbage sacks and just took it to the secondhand store. And then I got out boxes and filled boxes with clothes and things that we could actually put into storage. And now the problem is trying to get everything cleaned up, trying to get things put back into place so that we can actually still live here. And while we're waiting for the rental agreement to be signed and for us to be able to just take off. What else?
Oh boy.
Huh?
Oh boy, what else?
Tomorrow is John's last day of work.
Yep.
And I think I'm pretty excited about that. I'm really, really hoping that with him here that I can get more work, more video editing finished. Because a lot of my day is actually spent, you know, corralling children. And with John here, hopefully some of that corralling can be taken off my plate so that I can get some more work done.
Exactly.
We have one last woofer coming the week that we leave. And so that will be nice. Having her around would be very nice to be able to just get things tidied up outside a little bit more for the new renters. What else is there? A lot of you have continued to give us invitations to come stay with you. And if you guys would like to host us, please put it in there. But also, another thing that we're starting to ask and to look for is if you have an organic farm or an amazing homestead or an amazing restaurant that is very homestead based near you or on the way to you, or just you know that they're in your area, let us know, because we do want to get some videos of people who are doing the homesteading and the organic farming for a living. We would really like to go tour them on the way. I'm still trying to figure out which spinning wheel I want to take, or if I can take a spinning wheel. I might end up just in the end taking a drop spindle. They're definitely not as fast.
That would be, yeah, that would make for some very slow.
And so if I did that, I don't know, but what I wouldn't just have to like take my Etsy store down. I think it would be really good if I could take a spinning wheel, but I'm starting to see that you know, each of the spinning, the Mach 3 is the one that has the most the widest range, but it's enormous. And so unless I just go to just making hats and something that can have a more what's it called, a bigger gauge, a wider, lumpier texture, one that's really soft and cushy. Those are easier to do on the hopper. It's just not as good with the, and the polywog is just not real fast. It's just not meant to be fast. And so if I'm going to take the polywog, I might as well take a drop spindle. Oh, that's right. What's happening on the farm?
Yeah, right.
We've sold just about everything. The meat animals are gone, which really makes me cry. That was a really, really hard day.
Well, I think it was the big shock that they all just went at once.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they all went on the same
Everyone's
day.
like, yeah, we'll take them all. Oh,
I was
whoa.
really, really sore the next day because we were climbing under fruit bushes and running in and out around rabbit hutches, trying to catch all the ducks, because our one mama duck hatched out like 30 some odd ducklings since May. And so we had a ton of ducklings for them to take. And the rabbits, that was really hard. We had a bunch of young rabbits that would have just been going into the freezer. And so I think it was as much about not seeing that food make it into the freezer as anything else, because I'd done all this planning. We didn't do pigs this year. We didn't do a cow. We didn't do lambs. We didn't do anything big this year. And the big test was I wanted to see if we could feed ourselves if we were just using the small animals. And it turned out that, yes, I was capable of feeding our family just between the Muscovy ducks and the rabbits. I was able to keep meat in the freezer. And then here we are at the end, and none of it went in the freezer. That was really, really hard. Let's see if I put it, well, I don't know if it's okay. It's an emotional thing. You have anticipation of what's going to happen when you put all this work in.
Right.
And then it doesn't happen.
That's true. Sorry guys, I'm still working on it. We're getting there.
Okay, what else? Paige and Kaya are doing all of the animal chores right now. Paige is doing all the milking. So she's milking 2 goats. She's taking care of all the watering except for the ditch pump. So she runs out and turns on the water to the greenhouse for me. She feeds and waters the 4 ducks, 4 Muscovies that are left. We have 1 mama rabbit whose babies were too small to be able to go on that long trip. And she feeds and waters them. And mostly what I do is I pack. I pack and I clean and I pack and I clean, and then I try to get a video uploaded. And so that's pretty much how things are going. I have some more big videos that I want to create before I take down all the pretty things on my walls in here. I've got the 2 quilts, the Dirtpatcheaven quilt that was made by one of my viewers. And I've got all my embroidery, my needlework from Helen sent me the needlework. I've got little drawings by Melanie's son. All of this is going to make me really sad to take down. And I know that it'll go back up in another space at another time, but it is a little hard to take it down. Let's see, what else? We are coming to a close on the watering. The canal will be empty soon. We can be done with the flood irrigating at this point. That should be no big deal. As far as keeping the pastures alive, we don't necessarily need to do that at this point. And even if the water gets really shallow, I can still pump out of the canal. As long as there's some water in it, I can pump to keep the fruit trees alive. It's been a very dry, a very normal year. Previously, we had a couple years.
We've had very wet years previously, and now we've got a very
really wet year. So this year we had a normal year, and we didn't have any rain, like zip. We had no rain. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys not able to get your questions in? I haven't seen any questions yet. Did I make it public?
Usually the chat window. Well, yeah, you got 59 viewers. I'm coming on, hopefully. I can get there quickly. So, we were going minimalism. How we have kind of gone full circle. I guess not full circle. One end of the spectrum to the other very quickly.
As far as like prepper,
Yeah,
and then minimalist?
hoarding, and then minimalist, yes. In fact, in my thought in the back of my head was I was wondering if we had hit a midlife crisis because we're just suddenly throwing it all out and doing something new.
Well, and I think the hardest part about going out and looking at things is that I remember what the goal was in creating it. I had this goal and I was finding a way to make it happen. And then we've made this analogy before, and it's like a bad marriage.
There we go. Hi, Alicia. People are confused because Tommy is now on also. Oh, I wonder what Tommy's doing.
Oh.
Should we just revert and go over to Tommy, and then once he's done, then we'll try and figure out what's going on?
Well, I had talked to Brad, and Brad, we were going to change to Thursday, but I hadn't told him what time, so I had assumed that he still wanted me to be on Sunday until I told him what time we were going to do it on Thursdays. So that would make sense. Thanks for letting me know, Alicia.
And looks like we're currently streaming now too. So
I guess that means that that's final. So we'll probably be switching to Thursday, and I just need to let Brad know. The reason that we wanted to switch to Thursdays was so that we could still go to church on Sundays, because I know it doesn't look like it's real stressful, but at least for me, it's really stressful to do a live stream. And so it's very hard for me to have I'm somewhat socially awkward. I have a hard time in big groups of people. And so going to church on Sunday and then coming and being live in front of a whole bunch of people on Sunday, it's too much for me all in one day. And we want to start going back to church. I literally haven't been back to church since we started doing the live stream.
JS Farm says hi. Alicia's actually jumping on both of them. Thanks.
Really?
Alicia, good job.
So Brad told everybody that Tommy was on after him. Well, and that's just a confusion, is that Brad and I had that conversation, and I didn't realize that we were going to start it this week. So we'll just finish, and no harm, no foul.
So Deep South is
Hey, Deep South. Yeah, so we'll just finish for today, and then we'll go on and look for the other time that we want on Thursdays. But that's the reason why, is I can't handle that much social interaction in one day. It's just a little too hard for me.
So, yeah. I mean, it may not seem like it, but we're maybe not the most... We can't engulf ourselves in social all day long.
Yeah, it's a little too rough. And today we also went and saw family in Idaho Falls, so it was... That's been a long day of fun.
Okay. So, guys, thanks for checking us out. Yeah, head on over to Tommy. He's Off Grid Nation. And Tommy, thanks. We're sorry we're stepping on your toes at the moment.
Well, it's not like he's stepping on our toes or we're stepping on his. It's just that this was the first week that we're making the switch, and I didn't know that we were switching. Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be on Thursday.
We don't know what time yet.
We don't know what time yet. So check Facebook Live, and we will be over there. Also, for Facebook Live, I'm going to have something as soon as I get done with work tomorrow. And I'm going to try and start something, just kind of a 1-minute mini vlog every day. And hopefully I'll get a little bit better at vlogging and be able to take some of the weight off her shoulders. And it should keep you guys a little more up to date when we do go on the trip as well. So, what else? Patreon guys, I think I have an idea for you guys as well. So, thanks, guys.
Are you turning it off?
Aren't we? No? Isn't that what you're saying?
No, I was saying we're going to finish
it. Okay. Never mind. Then
that was a really good outro, honey.
Right.
Good job.
That's good. What are you doing?
For all of you who have invited us to come and be at your homestead, We really appreciate it. It does. It's going to make a huge difference in how we feel about traveling across the country, that we have friends along the way. Not so much just to be able to park there, but just to know that we have friends along the way, because that's a long way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, JS Farms.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's here.
Just,
she's here on chat. And so.
Did you get my email I sent to you? No. Unless it was talking about hosting. Tangi, the caver's wife, she is my virtual assistant, and she is the one that has been trying to keep track of all the information that people are sending in. And so, not me, because if I tried to do anything right now, besides just get the house ready for renters, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh, thank you, Alicia. I'm glad you like watching us. Okay, so all of my cutesy antique stuff, we're selling it.
Clear some stuff out. Go ahead.
What else? We're selling our big computer that we only got a few months ago because it can't go on the road with us. So anybody who's close and wants a really big fancy Mac, let us know, because we need to switch it out. We need to get another what's it called?
MacBook Pro.
MacBook Pro, because we need to take it on the road.
So if you want the big 27-incher, it's like,
Mr. Dirt was really excited about that computer when we got it.
I still am excited.
And I was not excited because I was like, oh my gosh, that's expensive.
Right.
But somebody said it would be just a shiznit, and it is. It's a good computer, but it's a little overkill. Yeah. For us.
I keep telling her we could just attach it to the roof of the RV and then it would fold down, and
then
I'd be able to.
Something bad would happen to it. I just know it, and that's a lot of money to get broken.
We also got the Apple Care, so we could go shoot it and then take it and say it's broke, and they would fix it.
Right?
Right.
That just sounds lovely.
Right.
So everything is getting brown, even though I'm watering everything and the fruit trees have plenty of water. They're definitely telling me that summer is winding down, and unless we're flood watering, there's not much grass anywhere. It's just too dry. What else? We're actually leaving quite a bit of our food storage for our renters rather than moving it, because somebody should be using it.
It's not us for sure, but.
Hey, Mike Miller. That's right. See you on the road.
Cool.
Let's see. Anything else going on with the RV that we want to tell them about?
Oh, so I just put the solar in. Mr. the Kid, if you're watching, thank you. They're very helpful and wonderful. And let's see what else. Have the inverter. That's why I think I could power that big Mac. And gasoline around here is horrible. And so on the hot days when the engine warms up, it actually boils the gas out of the what's called the carburetor, back in the days before fuel injection. So we have taken some runs and made sure it gets good and hot, and sure enough, it does. And have a can of starting fluid there. What else? Had a battery issue, so we just got a new battery put in it. They warranted the old one. I was so excited.
And I need to make slip covers for the cushions, because it is an old RV and it is kind of falling apart a little bit in the sewing upholstery department. So we're going to make some slip covers. And yeah, so it should be good. Yes. Yeah, I'm okay to quit now, and we can go over and see what Tommy's up to.
Okay. So guys, thanks for watching. Check Tommy out. We'll be on Thursday. Like I said, I'll throw out as many announcements as I can on all the platforms that we can remember that we have.
And if you're willing to host us, email us at dirtpatcheaven@gmail.com. And there's some information that Tangi will send to you about us and some questions we have for you. And that way we can kind of try and get kind of a general, this is where we're going, this is the timing will be there. And
we could go one of two ways. We may go east first, or we may go south first, depending on if we get a late start or
snow. Snow's pretty much what we're worried about.
Right. We've had snow every month of the year around here, so that's a pretty good fortune teller for the rest of the winter. So.
And we'll talk to you later.
Have a great week, guys.